Welcome back to TheChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. Got a video today from Alexander Grace. I really do appreciate all of you guys subbing. I've been getting a lot more subs lately on a daily basis, and I appreciate you guys. And I'm almost there at 100K. I don't think I'm going to hit it, but still a goal. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. So ciao. It's chow time.
What advice would you give your younger self?
To never marry. To never marry. I think that I could have done all the things that I have done without a man.
About 5 years ago, the media ran countless stories about how unmarried women are supposedly the happiest demographic of people. Women are happier without children or a spouse, says happiness expert. Why so many single women without children are happy. Expert claims women are happiest unmarried and childless. Single women live longer and are happier, science says. Boy,
The propaganda for women to not have children is just ridiculous, and it's working. So many young women, even my ex-wife, did not want kids.
what a victory to all the man-hating feminists out there. Science proves that women are better off without men. The mainstream media loved this message and they ran with it. It was complete bullshit, of course. It was quickly discovered that the researcher Paul Dolan had read the data completely wrong. His conclusions were completely false. Of course, unmarried women are not happier. But that didn't stop the media salivating over the idea and pushing it as hard as they could. For the record, here is the actual data. You can see how married women, especially married women with children, are the happiest demographic. But why was the mainstream media so eager to run with this narrative that women don't need men? It's because misery loves company, and that message was soothing to all the bitter single women out there. They couldn't.
Right? This is why they all came on TikTok using that same reference point of that article. Say, women are happier. We're happier. We're so much happier. With the stupid attitudes that they have that really shows they're just bitter.
Find a man, they couldn't make marriage work. And so they pushed this myth that success as a woman means to be single. That way they don't need to confront their own shortcomings. Now I have a hard message to all of the single women out there, which is that I discriminate against you. I think you being single reflects poorly on you. Yes, I am judgmental, but let me phrase it another way. I am extremely biased towards people who are married or in long-term relationships. Like if I was hiring for a job and I wanted a talented, high-performing, well-adjusted individual who I knew was capable of fulfilling the role, I would select candidates, men and women, who were married over people who are single. The reason is because relationships are hard. If you are successful in love, you have been married for many years, I think that that reflects very positively on you. So of course, my judgment is going to reflect that. I feel the same way about motherhood and fatherhood. Raising children, stepping up to that responsibility, that's difficult. That requires sustained effort. If you are successfully managing that and you're raising healthy, well-adjusted children, that reflects very positively on you. The intimate relationships in our lives require work, communication, conflict resolution, loyalty, dedication, intelligence, emotional courage. These things are not easy. It takes hard work to make it work. And
this is why I say relationships, legacy, kids, a family is very hard. But it's probably the best and most worthwhile thing to do because it is so difficult.
know that back in the day, they used to take it for granted that everybody gets married. That's just the expectation. It's no big deal. I don't feel that way anymore. I think marriage is a big deal. I had a woman tell me yesterday that she's been married for 30 years. And spontaneously, out of my mouth, I said, congratulations. And she said, thank you. Yes, we've had tough times, but we've made it through. We're very happy. And I get that it might seem socially a bit strange to congratulate somebody on being married. But honestly, in this day and age of quick gratification, quick divorce, I think 30 years is heroic.
30 years is 10 times longer than the average, which is 3 years. At least I was married for 12. So
I think that it's an achievement worth celebrating, because in this day and age, we seem to be living in a culture where so few women are willing to put in that hard work that a marriage requires.
Mostly women are leaving marriages and not men. Mostly women. At the college level, it's almost all women. Then men are the exception because women are initiating 90% of the time. And then if we break those stats down along religiosity, we might come up with some different numbers. But yes, it's mostly women breaking up the home.
How do you know that's not men's fault?
Well,
always
because we
our
can
fault.
ask these women why the divorce happened, and we can look at court documents for the reasons that they put for the divorce, and we can run different polls where we're talking to them, and what we find is the same thing that was pulled up the other night here on whatever. He was a perfect guy. I just got fucking sick of him. I don't like him anymore. There was no abuse. He didn't do anything wrong. I just don't fucking like him.
Is she not
anymore.
entitled to make that choice if she doesn't like her husband anymore?
I think that if you put your own
The thought process of these young women is just to win the argument, and even it's a detriment to yourself.
self's entitlement above that of your children in order to have access to their father in a two-parent household, you're setting them up for failure. And that's what we see in the stats.
Absolutely. I'm not going to go through the statistics again because I've covered them extensively on my older videos. You can go and watch them. But the data on how poorly children perform when they come from single mother households is astonishing. That so many women are willing to carelessly just discard their marriage without a thought as to what impact that will have on their children is so sad.
It is. And men, we really do think, remember, women only see this. Men see further out. When divorce is happening, we're already worried about our children. We're already worried about, like, how the hell am I going to get access to my kid? How am I going to protect my kid from all these dangers because of this stupid divorce? Where women are just like, I'm divorced because I'm not happy. I just want to be happy. Like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I want to be happy.
I want to talk more about the selfish attitude that women are bringing towards marriage. Back to this increased female selfishness. Women only looking out for their own interests in marriage. This is a big problem. All of that, yes, queen, be a bad bitch, you don't need a man. It's an issue because that female empowerment drumbeat is out of sync with the rhythm of marriage. Marriage requires dedicated effort, cooperation, teamwork, the purposeful alignment of your own individual interests with those of your family, your children.
This is why when people are like, "Oh, marriage is about love," all of it's never been about love. It's been about accumulating resources to produce the best offsprings and give your offsprings the best chance in life as possible. That was kind of what it's always been. It's never been, "Oh, I love you, you love me." No. Shit, I want kids, and I need good kids. I'm gonna protect you to get you your good kids, but you got to take care of the kids. And that's how that's how it's worked for centuries upon centuries until now.
Children. To be a wife is to understand that it's not all about you. But that message is fundamentally at odds with the cultural propaganda that women have been receiving for the last few decades, which is why so many marriages fall apart. Evidently, modern women just cannot stomach this notion that in order to be married is going to require some sacrifice. And this is why divorces initiated by women are so much on the rise. Look at this graph. Back in 1950, women were only initiating divorces 20% of the time. Now look where it is. Marriage takes work, and some women just don't want to do the work. It's easier to just leave.
If your husband is a good guy, but you're ready for divorce, you're not a bad person. So don't let guilt get the best of you. You're not doing him any favors by staying. If anything, you're actually going to start building up resentment. Your relationship doesn't have to be toxic to validate your feelings of wanting to leave.
God, our culture is failing so badly.
Really is.
We do not have adequate disincentive structures preventing women from bailing on marriages. Our society makes divorce an easy option for women to take. Of course she's going to recklessly end her marriage.
This is why in Asian countries, Southeast Asian countries, it's so taboo to be divorced, and it's so taboo to be a single mother. Everybody kind of shames at you, kind of stays away from you, and just doesn't really interact with you so much. You literally get shunned out of society for these things.
She knows that financially she's going to get taken care of. She knows that the court is going to grant her custody of the children. Socially, she'll have everybody's approval as the woman who chose herself. She valued herself too high that she doesn't need to settle for some average man. It was
like the thought process of our culture now, to be praising single mothers because you have the courage to leave your relationship, but to fuck your kids over and your family over. I can't believe how it's so praised nowadays. It's even praised by simpy men, blue-pilled men. That's so... Why are we praising people for destroying wonderful things that they've built together?
was doomed from the start because society is failing. We're not adequately educating women that to be somebody's wife is going to require compromise, sacrifice, effort. I know we're living as the instant gratification generation, but let me tell you this as an absolute fact. Nothing in this world that is genuinely fulfilling and meaningful comes easily. If you want the really good parts of the human experience, the really enriching, juicy, just yummy, amazing parts, you're going to have to earn it. But in the modern...
And there's a lot of risk involved with it nowadays too, guys. This is why I say, I want you to protect yourselves at all times. Don't, get worked by these women, but at least try and find a good woman. Try and start a family. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I get it, but give it some effort. I think most people, especially men, are going to tell you that it's somewhat worth it.
Era. God, it's so frustrating, but you've got women who just expect things to happen instantly. And when things start to break down, there are problems, there are issues that need attending to, that need fixing. The message from the culture isn't work on it, put in the effort, stay, fix the problem, work your way through it. No, the message is move on. You are too good for him anyway. You'll find something better. If it doesn't feel right, you don't have to stay. God help us, ladies.
Yeah,
marriage
seriously.
is not about the vibes. It is a commitment that you make and you recommit to every single day. It
called a
requires
duty.
effort, sustained effort.
The older I get, the more I realize that relationships are literally all about choice. Not about love, not even really about compatibility. It's literally about if that person wants to choose to be in a relationship with you. Do they want you? Period. The reason why relationships aren't about love is because love is a feeling, and sometimes you're not gonna feel the love between you and your partner.
Correct.
It literally comes down to two people choosing each other.
Yep.
Exactly right. If you're dating a woman whose sense of commitment to you is based off the feelings, the vibes, that is not a stable foundation. And if you make a commitment to her, you put a lot on the line, then you are playing with fire. Gentlemen, you need to make smart choices in dating. You need to think very rationally when deciding who to marry. If you pick the wrong woman, then don't be surprised if you're divorced by 40 and you only see your kids every other weekend. You can't afford to be lazy about this. The risk is too high. The consequences are too dire. You can't.
And the MGTOW, everything, I'm all for it. Hey, if you don't really want to mess with it, I'm not pushing you. But I know there's a good chunk of men out there that are like me, that want a legacy, that think family is important, that think kids are important. If you do think that, put yourself out there. Give yourself a little bit of risk. Don't destroy yourself by risking everything, by approaching women in the most awkward ways, but at least attempt to approach women, attempt to date women, attempt to find a good woman. And if not, it's okay. Just get your passports and go find overseas, which might be a little bit easier for you.
Can't pick a woman just because she's hot or she's fun or she's convenient for right now. Let me tell you some absolute facts. Her looks are going to fade.
Yep.
Life is not always fun. And the relationship is not going to stay convenient because the circumstances of life change constantly. When you're choosing a wife, look for character, look for depth, look for shared values, look for a woman who you know is capable of evolving, shaping themselves to suit new situations and circumstances. Be realistic about the problems that you're going to face, because as much as we all like to believe that we are unique, in all likelihood, you're going to face the exact same problems that every married couple does. You need to prepare yourself for them. You need to expect them. Love does not conquer all, but with some rationality and some deep commitment, it's got a much better fighting chance. And for the rest of this video, I'm going to explain the 5 conflicts that most married couples are going to go through.
I personally see marriage as a wonderful thing because the examples I have all around me are wonderful. But the only one that didn't work out would be my own parents. They divorced when I was, in my late 20s? But all of the kids were already fully grown. My brother was already 18, 20 at the time. So it wasn't too bad. But that's the only family that I can think of in my whole family that divorced. Everybody else either got widowed or they're still together now. And they've been together for a very long time. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that, and I'll catch you guys next time.